All right, so I am joined once again by Jack. Jack, how are you doing?
Good, Brian. How about yourself?
Doing quite well, and I'm excited because we're both Massachusetts. Originally from Massachusetts, and we're just gonna get right into talking about one of the big teams in the area, the Celtics. We've spent a lot of time talking to Chad about the Patriots, and I'm interested to hear about your thoughts on the Boston Celtics, who are currently 17 and 17 and sixth in the Eastern Conference.
Oh,
Jack, what is happening with this team this season?
oh man, those numbers, just hearing you say them again makes my heart hurt, man. Like that, we should not be a 500 team, right?
Mm-hmm.
500 win percentage. Oh man. I straight up, I do not know what's going on, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's bad chemistry and if it's
Mm-hmm.
bad vibes, if it's like Jalen versus Jason now. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, man. But it's been a struggle lately,
Yeah,
you
so I
know.
guess we can kind of talk about. They have a very good record at home. They're 10 and 5, and then
Yeah,
on the road they're 7 and 12. What is this? Why are these so bad on the road?
I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I know there was a period, and I don't want to put the blame on this. This ultimately comes
Mm,
down to the players, right?
right.
But earlier in the season, probably I think a couple weeks ago, they had a very long like West Coast stretch where they're
Mm,
like they play one day, they travel the next. I mean, don't
yep.
get me wrong, they're professional basketball players.
Right. Right.
They should they should be acclimated to this by now.
Mm,
But I'm gonna put a little bit of blame on that. I'm gonna put a
mm,
little blame on the inconsistency of getting Kemba in there when he's not able to
mm,
play night in night out. Right, he's got to have his rest because of his knee, and
right.
then Jeff Teague sucks. So
Okay.
it's been tough.
Right. So I guess yeah, you kind of talking a little bit about the lack of team chemistry this season. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, probably just like reactionary Celtics fans, but being like, "We need to blow this team up. It's over. Start from scratch." Where do you stand
Oh,
on that?
that hurts me to hear too because like from a green teamer that I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely am, I'm like, man, feed Jalen, feed Jason, and feed Kemba, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think a blow up is necessary. I just think you got to get rid of a couple of guys and start cycling in guys who have proven they can contribute. Um, I think get Jeff Teague out of there. God damn, I hate Jeff Teague. Seriously,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't want to see him on the roster.
that's at least the one we can say we need to get
That's one,
out of
please. Just
Boston. Okay.
ship him off to I don't care. To I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But he can go. Give Carson Edwards more minutes. He's a
Right.
scorer off the bench. Um, give okay, pretty much anybody except for like Tremont Waters and Taco Fall more minutes. Like seriously, I love
Okay.
Taco too, but like I don't know, man. We got to
Yeah,
switch
it's
something up
hard. It's,
here, and
it's a bit
nothing's
of a
happened.
meme in Boston to
He is a
to
meme,
adore
but
him,
man,
but
he's 7'5". He
mm,
could be elite. We need that. But no, switch, do something, Danny and
mm,
Brad. Like figure it out, man. This is
right.
pitiful.
Well, I guess talking about that, what do you think a lot of this falls on Brad Stevens as his coaching job has not been perhaps up to par or even up to the levels that he'd shown in the past?
I think in the past, yeah. I mean, this is I think statistically, at least over the last 5 years, with the same guys, the worst he's
Mm,
been as a coach for a
right.
record, right? So it's not been good on that front by any means. But
Mm,
at the same time, every news conference you see, and maybe this is just the players sticking up for their guy, but they've been like, yeah, no, Brad is not the problem, and Danny Ainge is saying Brad is not the problem. He's
mm,
shouldering the blame, but you wonder if there is something else in there. Like what is Brad not doing?
right.
Like, can he not motivate them? I think his play calling is elite. I just think it's
Mm,
his overall presence. Maybe I don't know.
right.
I don't know. I don't think the problem is Brad Stevens. I think it's a
Mm,
I think it's an on the floor issue.
right. I guess kind of going back to what we talked about last week, and we'll probably talk about in the future with the trade deadline coming up. Are the Celtics going to be sellers or buyers? It's so hard to say, right? They're right in the middle. So, like,
Yeah,
what do you
yeah,
think?
it
This is
is.
why I have you on to answer these tough questions.
Fair. So, man, I really think they're going to be buyers. I say
Okay.
that because you look at the records of the majority of the other rest of the Eastern Conference, and
Mm,
like they beat the Pacers 2 days ago when they were the 4 seed, and the
mm,
Pacers they lost that game obviously, and I believe they lost the next game, and now they're like the 8 seed. So like that, the Eastern Conference standings right now, aside from the top being like Philly, especially, like it's pretty much up for grabs. The seeding is up for
Mm-hmm.
grabs. We're still too
Right.
early into the season to know like what's going on, what's not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that said, I think we have the largest trade exception monetarily in league history from Gordon Hayward. Thank you, Gordon. Appreciate you. Have fun in Charlotte.
Yeah,
But like
I
we
hope
need
it's
to get
going
some
well.
help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's doing all right. He's doing all right.
Yeah. So I guess if you could like have anyone out there that you'd want them to target, like a dream scenario as a player who might be
Oh,
available, who they might be
there's so
able to
many.
have the resources to, yeah, one or two, whatever you think.
I That's what is tough because you've kind of got Kemba's not okay. He's a pretty traditional point guard, but he can also play off the ball when he can play two, right? And when
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Smart's back, it's fine, it's different. But we're missing that like elite center where it comes to we have Tristan Thompson and he's great at rebounding and all that. And Tice has really, really expanded his game this season, which he's done every year for the last couple of years. And everyone's gonna rip all over him, which is
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate because he doesn't get enough minutes and he fouls out pretty much every game. But like I don't know, man. There's something about having an elite center who is able to stretch the floor, which
Mm-hmm.
ironically, like if I could say bring back Al Horford,
Right.
um, I would love it. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of Celtics green teamers as well would love it, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I don't know if he is the same player as he was 2 years ago when
Right. Of
we all have
course.
those fond memories, you know. So that's
Mm-hmm.
it's tough.
Yeah. So even with I don't know how contentious it was, but I know it got a little contentious with his exit from Boston. You'd still be all about him coming back.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of water under the bridge for me at
Mm-hmm.
least. I think he was a good personality. He was just a genuinely good guy. And I mean Philly offered him more money.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for that. And at the time, he thought Kyrie was going to re-sign, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he didn't think we were going to have he didn't think Kyrie was coming back, but he didn't think there was a backup plan at point guard. And we get
Right.
Kemba, who's like not quite Kyrie. He's like B
Yeah.
team Kyrie,
Mm-hmm.
and then there are a lot of interviews out there where Al was like, like if I'm not going to say it would have been different, but
Yeah.
it might have been different essentially.
Yeah, no, he couldn't have predicted what moves the
No,
Celtics are going to make, and
no.
so I guess kind of on that thread, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about your feelings on Kyrie and the Nets doing so well. I know
Oh,
Kyrie's been a little MIA this season, but
yeah. Who
he's
knows?
still a part of the Nets, who are currently the 2 seed with a 22-13 record. What are your feelings on that and on Kyrie?
I Oh man, to be honest with you, I think it's funny that this was all the Brooklyn scenario was always Kyrie and KD were going to go somewhere
Mm-hmm.
together, and that's kind of what it's always been, and everyone knew it was always going to be
Yep.
outside of like the general public, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
the NBA players knew that was going to be the case,
Right.
and when they both go to Brooklyn, um, it's kind of like Batman and Robin, which is funny to me because Kyrie's issue in Cleveland was that he was the Robin to LeBron, and I'm like, okay,
Right.
whatever, man. This seems like it's deja vu, but okay, sure. Um, didn't like being the only guy in Boston, so I'm like, okay,
Yeah, he got a taste of it.
right, he got a taste of it. Now he's like, oh, you know what? Never mind. So anyway, he's in Brooklyn, and I don't know if they just felt they still weren't good enough or what was going on. But then they acquired James Harden, right?
Mhm.
And that is the best big three in the league since probably like D Wade, LeBron, Chris Bosh,
Yeah,
right? Like
right.
hands down. And then now Kyrie suddenly isn't even the second best player on the team. I don't think. I think James Harden's playing the best basketball of his career.
Mm.
Kevin Durant looks like he's rested and he's good to go, aside from a couple of like some nagging hamstring injuries, which I
Right.
understand them being precautious with.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
then
of course.
then there's Kyrie, and it's like, okay, if Harden's getting all the assists and KD's scoring all the time, what is Kyrie really doing? He's not rebounding. He's like 6'1". He's like my height.
Right.
But I don't know. It seems to me, I think he's going to. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what he's going to do. This dude's out of his mind. He's so mercurial. Like I don't really. You can't predict what he's going to say or what he's going to feel. But I think
Right.
end of the day, if he's winning, he's going to be content.
Yeah, I think.
I hate
Yeah,
him. But it's fine. It's fine.
a very common sentiment in Boston.
That's true.
It's so bad too because like I was a huge fan of him
Me too,
in
man.
Cleveland, and then him coming to Boston. I was like, this is a dream. Like we
Yeah.
got Kyrie. This is with Gordon Hayward. We're
I was
definitely
so
gonna
thrilled.
like
Oh,
go to the finals with this team, and all that's gone now. And now we're at 500, and it's just tough. I want him to get better, but I mean we'll see. I hope, like you said, the are buyers at the trade deadline, and we can
Me too,
come
man.
back on in a couple of weeks and be like, wow, this trade they made is great, and they're gonna be great going forward. But,
I sure hope so.
We'll see. So, is there anything else you wanted to add about the Celtics before we get on out of here?
Sure. One last thing, and I know that people like you and I will be pushing for the Celtics to make a trade. I think I think we're still in a good spot. We've got some good young guys, but Danny Ainge is notorious for saying, "Oh, we were this close to a deal and it didn't happen," and then
Right.
we lose in the second round of the playoffs, and everyone's like, "Why didn't Danny make a trade?" And it's just a common theme. So. Wanted to cover my own hide here and say
Right.
if that
You're saying
happens,
don't be
I will not be
surprised.
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get your hopes up because that's probably going to happen, and we're all going to be disappointed. So
Right.
that's a great way
That's
to end
fair.
it, I suppose.
I think that's a great way to end it. Jack, thank you so much for coming on. Where can they find you online?
Thanks, man. So best place to find me is on Twitter. I'll be complaining about the Celtics 9 times out of 10, and probably Jeff Teague especially. That's at Jack_Tiernan.
So go find him on Twitter. And Jack, again, thank you so much for coming on. This was a great conversation. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
And we'll see you
Definitely.
next time.
You got it. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out that clip. If you want more, well, we have the whole show dropping each and every Friday on YouTube, or it's already live on iTunes and Spotify. Just search Wicked Good Sports. We have daily content during the week coming out here on the channel, so stick around for more by subscribing, and we will see you in the next one.